What's going on? Yo, 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 what it do? What it is? Teej Darrell, Mr. Lonely Stoner is back in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we got some business to attend to. This weekend was very interesting. It was there was a lot going on between the spring games for NCAA, the NBA playoffs that happened, and a lot of people losing that we didn't expect to lose. And of course, WrestleMania weekend. Now, let's start off with the first night. We ain't gonna rush too much into it. Let's take our time, really evaluate what was going on, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know what I'm saying? So, you about to see what's going on. I got Bleacher Report up here now. I'm gonna go through some of their grades and everything like that, just to kind of see where they're at, to see if I agree with it or not. And if it to see if I feel like we're at the same capacity as far as how we looked at that night. So let's go to night one, shall we? Night one, and if you follow me on Instagram, which is Teej already been cool, go hit that follow button right now. You know what I'm saying? Or if you ain't subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button right now and the like button as well, along with the notification bell. You heard me. Now, night one, okay? We have Ray Phoenix versus El Grande Americano, who we all know is Chad Gable. I don't even know why they still trying to do that part. Jade Cargill versus Naomi. The War Raiders versus New Day. LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu. Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair. Jey Uso versus Gunther. Or Gunther, however you say it. And then you have CM Punk and Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. Now, for some strange reason, we open up with main event Jey Uso and Gunther. Why? I don't know. It didn't make sense to me. It's a championship fight. I understand that the triple threat match, whatever contract they had or whatever favor, it made them the headliner, blase, blase. But there's no way in hell I'm not putting Jey Uso and Gunther right before that. So, they open up with the World Heavyweight Championship match. And I'm not sure. I ain't gonna lie, it was a great match. It's just too early. It was too early for me. Now let's go into it here. Jey Uso was victorious in this bout. You know what I'm saying? And first of all, we didn't get the Yeet Master like we supposed to do. Like, we supposed to have 60,000 people in that motherfucker Yeet, having a good time up and down. He really didn't. It didn't feel like he was engaged in the crowd as much as he is on a Monday Night Raw, which is weird because this is WrestleMania. But if we go overseas, he's engaging. If we're in the States on a regular show, SmackDown or Raw, whatever it is at that point, he's engaging. I understand you had to come in with a more conscious mindset of, I got to get it done. I'm locked in mode. I'm real serious and everything like that. But that's not why the people are coming. People are coming there to party with Jey Uso and have a good time and to see him win. Now, I wasn't there, so I can't say if they had a good time or not. But for me, looking at it on TV, it don't look like everybody was actually fully engaged like they usually are if he is as well. You know what I'm saying? So that played a big role for me as far as how this match went. They said it was a red hot crowd from what Bleacher Report is stating here. They gave it an A. And then we're just going to read some of the top moments and takeaways here. Said immediately this felt like a main event worthy match. Duh. It's the World Heavyweight Championship. The special entrance for Uso, the big match feel, the title match introductions. This was special. Supposedly it was special. Gunther chopped Uso, who responded with the uppercut that rocked the champion, knocked him off his feet. Uso kicked out of the power bomb, and then Gunther out of the top rope splash. In consecutive dramatic near falls, the challenger laughed off the champion's late chops, playing mind games with an increasingly frustrated ring general. Like I said, they gave it an A. I would give that a B- for that match. And it's purposely because of what I said at the beginning, and then also them putting it at the beginning of the fucking event. Excuse my language. But it was at the beginning of the event. Doesn't make sense. The man's name is Main Event Jey Uso. He finally gets a World Heavyweight Championship match with this magnitude. And y'all belittle him and Gunther as well by putting them at the beginning. It just didn't make sense to me. Now, I do want to see what y'all think. So please drop in the comments what grade you gave that match. I'm going to go B- because of the placement. The engagement that I didn't feel, amongst other things at that point. And it was, like I said, I feel like it should have been right before the main event at that point. So now you start off with that. Pretty damn good. You got people interested to see what's going to happen next. And then the next match we have after that was the War Raiders versus New Day. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I was in my phone majority of this match. Once it started, I just really didn't. I don't know. It just didn't really pique my interest. New Day is not somebody that I'm a fan of, especially how they did Big E. You know what I'm saying? I know they on like a heel tag team run. It's not interesting to me. I really think the Street Profits and them and their matchup that was on SmackDown should have been in this place, to be honest. They should have flip-flopped this at that point. Bleacher Report gave it a C+. Like I said, I can't really even give you a grade on that one because when I kept looking at it, I wasn't seeing anything interesting. It didn't really give me any excitement, so I probably would give it less than a C+ at that point. A D, to be honest with you. New Day winning tag team gold on WrestleMania stage just feels right. This is the top moments and takeaways. This is not my words. This is from Bleacher Report. New Day winning tag team gold on the WrestleMania stage just feels right. This was Kingston's first title win on the grand stage since defeating Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship in 2019. Now, that's how you know I really didn't care for the match. I didn't even know who won. Didn't know who won. Didn't really care. The lack of reaction was indictment on the creative or lack thereof that went into the tag team division in the lead. I don't know how they wrote this. In the lead up to the event is what they should have said, but the lead into this event is what they said. Yeah, I didn't have no backstory on it. I didn't really care. All I kept seeing throughout the last couple of months is New Day belittle people, try to insult them, all that other good stuff, and just like I said, just play the new heel role of a tag team, which is cool, but at the same time, it's boring. There's no real excitement from them two that I felt or that I seen. I could be wrong. You know, people could feel their different opinions and everything like that. Please drop in the comments. Let me know how y'all feel about New Day in general. I'm just not a huge fan of them without Big E for some reason. It just don't feel right. They said it feels right for them to win the championship. I disagree. But yeah, we'll move on from that one. I gave that less than what it was supposed to be honest. But like I said, they gave that a C+. They felt like it was just right for them to win the championship. So Let's see here. What else we got? Now, the one I was very, very disappointed in, but not surprised that I was disappointed, which is messed up to say, was Jade Cargill and Naomi. Now, anything outside of a match that I've seen them do has been exciting. The promos they've cut have been exciting. The interruptions that Jade has had or Naomi has had against each other, they have been exciting. It's been that type of atmosphere and environment. So I was hoping by this time that Jade would be a little bit more polished in ring wise. Cause it hurt both of them at that point. Cause now at this point, Naomi is not really the fluid wrestler I've seen her be, because she has to, you can't move too fast if your opponent ain't gonna move that fast. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna look weird. It's not gonna look right, but it made it look worse, bro. In my opinion, it made it look worse. So let's see here what they gave it. So they gave it a B minus. They gave it a B minus. I would have gave it a C minus, to be honest. I'm gonna drop a whole letter down. I'd have gave that a C minus, maybe a D plus, just because it felt like certain times they were forgetting spots. The pace of it wasn't as favorable to the crowd. It felt like. Now there were some great moments, I will say that. So that's why they probably etched it to a B minus. There was some great moments as far as showcasing Jade's power, showcasing her athleticism and stuff of that nature. But it was kind of tarnished by the lack of wrestling that was going on in the fucking ring, man. That's what hurts, when you can't, excuse my language again, I'm sorry, but I get a little passionate about this. But when you're between those lines and you're actually wrestling, there has to be a more fluid chemistry and not so much pandering to the crowd. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should be focused on your opponent, making sure that you're doing your job while still entertaining. You don't have to continue to pander to the crowd every time you do a move, every time a moment in the match happens. You don't have to do that, and that's what it felt like. It was a lot of pandering from both of them, to be honest with you, but more so Jade on her end. So let's go down to top moments and takeaways that Bleacher Report has. It says this was the first non-title singles match between two women at the show of shows since Tori Wilson battled Candice Michelle at WrestleMania 22. Wow. That lets you know there that they had high hopes for this match going in at that point. Naomi's presentation from the theme to the gear was extraordinary. I agree with that. But both women looked great. We're not just going to put it on one. Both women looked great. Outfits, entrances, the display, everything like that. The physiques, they looked great, looked in shape, looked like who they should be. You know what I'm saying? So that, I don't know. I'm not really putting that in the grade more so. I'm really talking about the match itself and what it gave off. It says the channel was okay. I don't. That has nothing to do with the match. All right. The finish looked iffy to start, but was ultimately physically impressive. So I don't know, man. Like I said, I wasn't too excited about this match. It was okay. Like I said, they had some great moments. Like, you know, when Jade caught Naomi off the ropes and had her in a, I don't know if it was turned into a suplex. I believe it was a suplex, if I'm not mistaken. But that was a great moment. And it was like 2 to 3 other moments such as like that, where she caught her midair. She caught her midair with a body slam through a backwards type joint. All right, it was cool. But but it wasn't great. It's not in the B grade average for me. That wasn't a B plus, B minus, B anything material from my point of view. You know what I'm saying? Now let's move on. The United States Championship, LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu. I'm a big Jacob Fatu fan, so I can't really. He's gonna give me what he's gonna give me every time. I'm never disappointed in his performance, in ring, outside the ring, or promos. LA Knight neither. He's a great wrestler. Excuse me. Good promos that he cuts as well. Sometimes they can be cheesy, but nonetheless, pretty decent. His entrance, however, since we talking about entrances and whatnot, I don't think it was that great. It was cool. It wasn't anything extravagant. But let's go to the grade, shall we? Oh, actually, no. This time we're going to read the top moments and takeaways. So it says, analyst Wade Barrett criticized Knight for competing on SmackDown just 24 hours earlier, but he apparently forgot Fatu was in the same tag team match. The megastar scaled the ropes and caught his opponent with the overhead German suplex off the top in an incredible spot. So, that's twice we've seen it now. In Jade match and in this one. I get it. We're trying to do things that's different. But you don't want to put them in the matches that are back to back. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. That's like last year's WrestleMania when we saw everybody interrupt and everything like that, and we had a million super kicks. At a certain point, we cannot continuously see the same exact thing over and over from your top superstars or from those who are heavily heralded by the crowd or by the fans. Like certain things you just have to be more aware of, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Knight caught a monsoon. Excuse me. I got that all wrong. Knight caught a moonsaulting Fatu mid-flight with a blunt force trauma. Dueling chants late in this match indicated both men are over with the audience. I agree. Like I said, these are two fan favorite wrestlers. LA Knight has catchphrases that all the people know. And Jacob Fatu is just a warrior, a beast, a person that people want to see main event eventually because he has that capability. I'm glad they pushed Solo Sikoa to the side because Jacob Fatu is a bigger personality than Solo, in my opinion. Now, they gave it a B+. I'll give it a B-. I'll give it a B-. I'm happy that Fatu got the championship. Shout out to Rikishi and the whole, Bloodline family and everything like that. So all that's cool. You know what I'm saying? And then also shout out to Jey Uso for winning his championship because he did get the World Heavyweight Championship. But it was still lacking somewhat. I think the sequence of the matches as well played a big part as far as how a lot of people were looking at it because it just didn't make sense at certain points. Certain matches were bigger than another match, and then you had a match like the next one, Rey Fenix and El Grande Americano. Rey Mysterio is supposed to be in that place. He's not wrestling because of, I think it was an injury, if I'm not mistaken, that he said. Yep, he was injured, defending Lucha Libre against. So yeah, he did not fare any better than the legend would have, thanks in large part to the heel's reliance on a undetected metal plate. That's how Chad Gable or Americano got the dub. Now, I think this angle is just kind of getting tired. I don't think the people are really too into it anymore. It seems like it's getting watered down. You don't want to do that to the lucha libre legacy as far as what they contribute to wrestling. And I did hear that WWE acquired a one of the lucha libre promotions to try to help elevate it and everything like that. At a certain point, we're gonna have to drop this Americano thing. It's not really appealing. It's not anything fresh or new. It just feels weird, to be honest. And, to be perfectly honest, in my eyes. Excuse me. They gave it a C plus. I'll give it a C, a solid C. Top moments and takeaways. Vikino. Who does Vikino? Okay, so Ray Phoenix caught Grande with the kick before the match. Oh, excuse me. Viking Go caught Grande with the kick before the match. The world-renowned luchador was part of the announcement early in the day that WWE had acquired AAA promotions. What a way for Phoenix to make his first WrestleMania appearance by filling in for a Hall of Famer on short order against one of the best in-ring performers in the industry. The metal and the mask gimmick is going to be a lot of fun for as long as Gable continues to invest in his Grande character. I disagree with that. I don't think it's going to be a lot of fun if that's the only way that person can win, and that's what we're going to keep doing every time. It's kind of diminishing the other people that's in the match at that point. Especially if Chad Gable can actually have great matches without that, we shouldn't have to do this Americano gimmick and stuff of that nature. I'm not sure whose idea it was in the back. Most likely Triple H's. But at the same time, we all know now that a lot of these wrestlers have a lot more freedom to have their input. So this was probably Chad Gable's idea as well. I gave it a solid C. Really not too much of a fan of it. I let that go. The WWE Women's Champions. Tiffany Stratton versus the challenger Charlotte Flair. Yeah, no one wanted Charlotte Flair to be there. Not a single person wanted Charlotte Flair to be in this match. No one was expecting anything. I don't know. I don't know why they're trying to force Charlotte Flair at this point. And it's just not really going well, in my opinion, shall I say. So that's been the weird thing about all this as far as that goes. I think they need to find something else for her right now, but to keep forcing her in the championship matches because of her last name, because that's really what it comes down to, it's kind of getting a little bit annoying at this point. Now, Bleacher Report gives this an A. I'm not sure who was watching or grading this one, but hey, I can understand because of how great Tiffany Stratton has become, and Charlotte is a great in-ring wrestler, but she's just not. There's no flair to the Flair in my opinion. Like I don't see it. I don't feel it when she wrestles. Her promos aren't good to me. I may be tripping. Let me know in the comments if y'all feel like I'm tripping on that. But like I said, they gave it an A. I'm not giving this an A. I give it a C plus maybe. Stratton exited a Barbie box for her special WrestleMania entrance. She's self-aware if nothing else. Barrett with some great insight. Wade Barrett, that is. As he revealed, Stratton's inexperience means it takes her an extra second or two to figure out what to do next, giving Flair an opening. The knees to the midsection of the prettiest moonsault ever spot looked like it hurt. Like, these top takeaways and moments don't sound like a grade that deserves an A, shall I say. The A was messing me up. But yeah, these top takeaways and moments don't sound like a grade that's worthy of an A. Stratton kicked out of the natural selection to keep the hope she might win alive, which she did. So she retained the title, beat Flair. It just, I don't know. Like I said, night one was very hard for me to stay entertained. I'm not sure where their grades are coming from, but I'm not really agreeing with them. I haven't seen a grade that I would agree on or go above. And that's saying something. Now, the last match of the night, the match that saved this night, like literally saved this night. I'd have turned this thing off if it wasn't for this match being last at this point, because that's how much it didn't feel like a WrestleMania type of first night for these matches. It just didn't for me. Now, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Roman Reigns. Top veterans, very skill savvy, very ring savvy, and Paul Heyman, one of the greatest minds of the WWE, of wrestling in general. This was a great match. The excitement was there. The suspense was there. The moves, the different specials that everybody was using. The spears, the go to sleeps, you know what I'm saying? The knees, the stomps, all types of good finishers were happening. You know what I'm saying? And Paul sold it. He sold this match in perfect Paul Heyman fashion. They gave it an A+. I would definitely give it an A+. This is the only one that I can say I agree on. This match was awesome. Now, we're just going to go top moments and takeaways. An excellent video package recapping Punk's WWE career and set to his old theme music, The Fire Burns by Killswitch Engage, gave way to Living Color performing Cult of Personality live for his entrance. Now, the entrance was great. The performance was great. I agree with that. Reigns launched himself into the crowd, wiping out Punk and Rollins and almost the first row. That was amazing. You almost thought he was going to hit a fan. That's how high in the air he flew, and that's how reckless it looked, but it was so controlled. It was so controlled. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss on this match, man. Because Rollins and CM Punk, they fought that whole time from the other side of the ring to the crowd, went in the back. They fought each other, not all the way in the back, but like the back of the first section of, of the seats and everything like that. Had like a little hardcore match in between that with the trash can, so it gave that old hardcore feel a little bit. They was just dumping stuff out the trash cans, hitting each other. It looked good. When they got close to getting back in the ring, or getting back to the side of the ring on the outside, basically, where the tables and everything is, it turned to what it was supposed to turn into. Reigns kind of taking over, taking control. Wiped him out, like he said, with that first, with that jumping into the crowd move, and launched himself. Rollins countered a spear from Reigns into a pedigree in a cool spot, but still could not keep the tribal chief down for 3. Great counter, great move, great spot. Great spot. Punk delivered to go to sleep to Reigns, but he kicked out at 2. There was some great finishers going on. I'm telling y'all this. This was a great match. A shield bomb tease from Reigns and Rollins descended into chaos, with the former delivering a uppercut to the Visionary and then driving Punk through one commentary table and Rollins through another. This was great cinema. They took probably, I want to say, 5 to 7 minutes out of that match to kind of sell that Rollins and Roman Reigns may work together again just to eliminate Punk out this match, and then they can do their one-on-one. But Roman Reigns has been into that. He's kind of been in that position too many times to go into it blindly. He let it on, kind of fired Rollins up to do so. And as soon as he seen his opportunity, gave him that uppercut. It was beautiful. Rollins, the ultimate troll, trapped Punk in his favorite wrestler's finisher, Bret Hart's sharpshooter. Now, this was great. Like I said, like that's just that was the last top moment of takeaway, shall I say? But I'm gonna go into the Paul Heyman part. Paul Heyman, like I said, he sold this match perfectly at the end with emotion, deceit, and just being like a slimy greaseball, man. I'm gonna turn on my best friend, which he did. He turned on his best friend, and then he also turned on the person who he's been following around and being the wise man too for the last 4 to 5 years, almost. And you leave the building with Seth freaking Rollins. It couldn't have got no better of an ending for that. That was a perfect ending, especially how much they invested in the lead up to this. As far as the interactions on SmackDown, the interactions on Raw, and everything that they were doing as far as trying to get that momentum for this. I think that was absolutely great, man. So, in all, night one was not great, in my opinion. And from what I've seen, a lot of the WWE fans feel the same way. I've talked to some of my friends, even some co-workers of mine and stuff like that. They all feel kind of that the Rollins, Punk, and Reigns match saved night one from being what we would call a disaster as far as WrestleMania goes, because it didn't all have a WrestleMania feel to it. You can do the big entrances and everything like that, but if the match sucks or it's not living up to what we expect from that person, there's no way we're going to stay invested at that point, because now we're kind of getting to a point where it was kind of bad match after bad match, or a letdown match after letdown match, shall I say, just off of excitement and the endings of the matches and stuff of that nature. And some of that ending stuff carried on into night two, which we will cover in the next video. But yeah, man, drop in the comments how y'all feel about night one WrestleMania. I think it was overall a C minus at best. C minus, C at best. But like I said, Rollins, Punk, and Roman Reigns saved the night, made sure that we had something to talk about going into the next night. Yeah, man. That's all I got to say about that one, to be honest with you. Drop in the comments how y'all feel, man. Hit the subscribe button. Hit that like button. I appreciate y'all tuning in. WWE fans, we got to tune in tonight. WWE Raw. John Cena said he's going to ruin things. Let's see what happens. Y'all tap in with me, man. Like this video, share this video, and I'll holler at y'all later. Mr. Lonely Stone, Mr. Watch How I Do It. I'm out.